Okay, today on April 18th, which was actually 2 days ago now, but whatever. Today on April 18th, there was a patch to the Overwatch PTR, and we are going to talk about said patch today. And basically, I hate it, but we'll get more into that in a second. Basically, Hanzo's rework is going to be just like Mercy's rework, and I'll tell you why. So, anyway, first though, we gotta get to some other things. First, there's a new map. Oh, hooray. I haven't really seen very much of the new map. It looks cool. Hopefully it's better than Junkertown and Horizon. We'll talk more about Horizon later as well. So, first, Genji, Deflect. Hitbox size has been reduced. This is fantastic, because Deflect is probably the most misleading ability in the entire game right now. The actual hitbox is way bigger than the particle effect makes it look like, so I think this is a great nerf, makes it more in line with the actual ability. And, because You've done it. You've thought you got that past the deflect, but it somehow deflected off of him anyway, even though it was like 3 feet off to the right. You know how it is. You've seen it. So, Hanzo, though. So, just blanketly, his projectile speed has been increased. Okay, fair enough. Sonic Arrow has been pretty close to objectively buffed, because they've reduced the cooldown to 12 seconds, so an 8-second reduction. For comparison, Biotic Field is 15 seconds. So, Sonic Arrow now has a lower cooldown than Biotic Field, despite having a bigger effect than Biotic Field, because wall hacks are really strong, as it turns out. Duration decreased to 6 seconds from 10, and radius reduced to 7 meters from 10 meters. For an 8-second cooldown reduction, I'll take those changes, you know? So I think that's pretty close to an objective buff for Sonic Arrow, even though it came with some trade-offs. So, but here's the rework part. So, Lunge, Genji has a double jump. Now Hanzo has got his own twist on the double jump. So Genji's probably feeling a little cheated right now. So, Genji, you jump and you jump again. Hanzo's isn't quite like that. You jump and then you jump in a direction afterwards. So you jump and then you go forward or backwards or sideways, diagonally, whatever. So, that's cool, you know, double jump with its own flavor for Hanzo, cool. So, but here's the big thing. Scatter Arrow has been replaced by Storm Arrow. Hanzo can now rapidly fire up to 6 arrows that deal reduced damage, but are always fired at full power. So, the reduced damage means that a headshot does 160 damage. So, you know, the headshot doesn't outright kill anybody right now. I'm looking for a specific window that I had open. Oh god, here it is. So, this is what Hanzo's abilities look like now. Well, Storm Arrow specifically. So, 3 body shots will kill a 200 health hero, right? And headshot does 160 damage. So, you know, 2 will kill a headshot. 2 will kill on a headshot, and or Tracer, just outright. So, but here's the thing. So, Scatter Arrow is 6 projectiles that do 75 damage, so that caps out at 450 damage. Storm Arrow caps out at 960 damage. Which is a lot, isn't it? And I believe if it's fully body shots, it's 425, but I'm not 100% confident on that number. Either way, that's quite close to Scatter Arrow, which is 450, if all the projectiles hit you. Now granted, Scatter Arrow is 1 shot, and Storm Arrow is 6. But here's the thing, you saw Storm Arrow right there, it fires quite quickly. So, now here's the other part, right? People have said, I've seen this argument, people have gone, if you land 6 headshots, you deserve to do 960 damage. Think about this, though. Orisa, D.Va, Winston, Roadhog all have really big head hitboxes. Tanks in general do, because they're big, and their heads are big by extension. But those 4 heroes in particular have very big head hitboxes. And I said this a really long time ago. I said, if Hanzo is strong, someone like Orisa is going to have a really hard time being played because her head is giant. So here's the thing. Imagine, I've said that about 12 times, I'm good at repeating myself. So imagine this. Imagine you're on Volskaya Industries and you're playing Orisa. And you're standing up in the choke point, as you do, on the left side of the truck. Hanzo climbs in the window and comes over the corner and just goes tink, 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 right into your head and you die. And you say to yourself, well, I'll just use Fortify. 960 damage reduced by 50% is still more than 400. So even if you used Fortify on every single shot, you die. And you are probably not going to use Fortify on every single shot from Storm Arrow, but you are very easy to hit. Especially if he's close to you. And they just made his projectiles faster in general. So, there's that. You know, someone like Orisa will suddenly have a lot of trouble with someone like Hanzo being that strong in the area, right? And then, alright, so he's a sniper. What's the weakness of snipers? Getting up on the sniper. Which is why we pick people like Winston and D.Va to counter Hanzo. Here's the thing. You jump on him as Winston. Storm Arrow basically kills you anyway. Just all body shots. But again, Winston's head hitbox is basically the entire front of his model. Not quite, that's an exaggeration, but you get the idea. It's very easy to headshot Winston. And he doesn't even need to get that many headshots to kill you with Storm Arrow if you're Winston. And also, well, alright, I'll wait till he has Storm Arrow on cooldown. He just lunges away from you. Because even though he's a sniper, now he has wall climb and lunge. So he's actually an extremely mobile sniper, right? The weakness of snipers typically is if you get to the sniper, you can kill the sniper. He just leaves. Wall climbs, lunges away, just uses Storm Arrow and kills you. And you might say, that's no different than him using Scatter Arrow if I jump on him. Scatter Arrow is very telegraphed, one shot, right? He looks at the ground. You jump. If you're playing Genji, you can double jump it. If you're playing Tracer, you can dodge it. If you're playing Winston, you can hop over it. You can just play around your bubble a little closer, right? If you're D.Va, you've only got to block one shot with Defense Matrix. Storm Arrow, however, 6 shots. So there's that. So, alright, I'll play D.Va. I'll use Defense Matrix. Here's what Hanzo does. Storm Arrow. 1. Oh, Defense Matrix. Wait. Ting, 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 ting. And just lunges away. And they reduced D.Va's burst damage as well, so even that is not as good for Hanzo. Suddenly, Winston and Hanzo are way less attractive counters to Hanzo. Winston and D.Va are way less attractive counters to Hanzo. Because he can just leave, or kill them. And that's just assuming that fight's happening in a bubble, right? Things are not that simple. So, if Hanzo's got any degree of help at all, it's going to be really easy for him to kill him. Imagine damage boosted, right? Fuck it, 900% damage boosted. Fucking nano boost that Hanzo, watch him go. Anyway, so suddenly those are way less good at countering Hanzo. Roadhog, he's big. He's easy to hit. And as we established, 50% damage reduction is still a fucking lot of damage from 960. So, and again, you probably don't use damage reduction on all of it. So, someone like Roadhog, very easy to hit, very big head, very scary. Also, just consider that, like, Hanzo's projectiles are fucking huge, and suddenly they travel really fast. And the closer you are to someone, the closer to a hit-scan weapon a projectile weapon becomes, and they're just faster. So, suddenly, tanks are very... Like, I play a lot of tanks. I really hate the idea of Storm Arrow. I really don't want that. I don't want to be playing Reinhardt and just watch fucking Hanzo lunge over me and fire all these arrows into me. That won't be very fun. Anyway, so you go, alright, I'll play Genji, or I'll play Tracer. He's got 6 chances to hit you, right? He's only got to hit Tracer once, and he kills her or forces her to leave. He's got 6 chances. And she's very close to him. And his projectiles are very big and very fast. And he's very mobile now. So there's that. And Genji, being hit once is not as scary for Genji, but again, once he gets hit once, yeah, and if he gets hit twice, Genji's basically dead. So Hanzo's got a lot of chances to hit that Genji, because that's the thing Tracer and Genji have, right? We're hard to hit, and therefore we're hard to kill. But he's got a lot of chances. Again, you might say Scatter Arrow is a good defensive ability. Again, it's very telegraphed. As soon as he looks down, you know what he's planning to do. So that's when you dodge it. 6 shots is a lot harder to dodge than 1 shot, as it turns out. And in this context for the flankers, 1 shot off of Storm Arrow is not that drastically different. Tracer can still die, or very close to die. Genji's only got to get hit 3 times and he dies. Twice and he's definitely leaving. Tracer's only got to get hit once and she's probably leaving. If she doesn't die from a headshot. So, Flankers are not very attractive either. So you go, alright, Widowmaker counters Hanzo, though. Debatably, that's already not true. Some people would argue that Hanzo already has the advantage in this matchup because he can do Hanzo things and just peek a corner over and over and over again, and he's only got to hit Widow once with his tree logs, and she probably leaves if she doesn't die from a headshot. And also, his wall hacks are easier to access than Widowmaker's. Some people argue Widow still has the advantage because hers is hit scan and his is projectile. But if he's peeking a corner, that's a lot harder to do. But, so now, Sonic Arrow, lower cooldown, easier access to it, so he's got more of an advantage right there against Widow. But also, lunge around the corner with Storm Arrow. Or just lunge around the corner, even that might be enough with the wall hack as well. But you got Storm Arrow for good measure. So if Widow already debatably lost that matchup, now she definitely loses that matchup. So, we're starting to run out of Hanzo counters at this point, aren't we? So, I think this is a terrible change. I think this change is going to be exactly as bad as the Mercy change. And probably not at first. The Mercy change was easier for people to leverage because Mercy is obviously an easier hero to play than Hanzo is. But once people get decent at Hanzo, he's going to be very, very scary. I had such big dreams for this hero, right? Like, I thought you could basically turn him into the Green Arrow, right? You could give him, like, a Frost Shot, Explosive Shot, all these things, and just give him utility, and that would make him more consistent as a hero, right? What if we just made it way easier for him to do a fucking lot of damage? Also, what if we changed Scatter Arrow to be functionally very similar to Scatter Arrow, but also stronger, and with a higher potential cap? Just imagine you play against a really, really good Hanzo, and he comes at you with Storm Arrow. Fucking, that's a lot of dead people right there, right? Like, you can just kill 2 people straight up with it. So, let me just show you this clip. Let me show you this clip. If you don't believe me, you're like, oh, it's perfectly fine. It's a more skillful ability than Scatter Arrow. Watch this play of the game and tell me if you think Storm Arrow looks very skillful. So he gets 1 headshot right there. And now he's like, gonna use Storm Arrow on cooldown. And just kind of shoot randomly into this alleyway. And he got 2 kills with it. Despite not really putting much effort into aiming. Doesn't look much more skillful than Scatter Arrow to me. Scatter Arrow to me was not that different to getting hit by, like, Helix Rocket, right? There are abilities in this game where if you get hit by them, you probably died, right? Like, if you just get hit by Helix Rocket in a couple of shots, you die. Right? That's not really any different than Scatter Arrow. It's just Scatter Arrow feels worse, right? We all make jokes about it. I make jokes about it, Scatter Skill and all that. But, like, I didn't really have an issue with Scatter Arrow. You know, I didn't think it was that different to many other abilities. And I thought that that was, like, the thing that made Hanzo really worth playing. Is that, like, that was the strong thing about Hanzo. What if we just made that ability better? Okay, fair enough. And then what if we gave him more on top of that? I already think Storm Arrow and Lunge might have been too much anyway. And then he just did other things to him anyway. So, like, this rework is going to have as big of an impact as Mercy's did. And for all the wrong reasons, just like when Mercy's did. Might take a bit of a slower boil for it to really kick in, but I think it's gonna. So, Junkrat. Projectile size decreased from 0.3 to 0.2. Doesn't sound like much, but do remember that's a third of that total number that got reduced, so that's a lot, actually, when you think about it like that. Entire movement speed reduced from 13 to 12. This is the kind of thing we really need to see in action to know the kind of impact that's going to have, right? Because it's hard to visualize this kind of change. What does 13 to 12 speed look like? What does 0.3 to 0.2 look like in projectile size, right? We'll need to see this in action to really know the kind of effect that it's going to have, because the changes themselves are so hard to visualize. They look really small, but I think they'll probably end up having a pretty big impact on Junkrat, actually, and reduce the more frustrating aspects of him, which is good. Junkrat's a very frustrating hero. So, Lucio, Wall Ride. Wall riding is less likely to be interrupted along a single surface, can now go around corners inside and outside corners without having to leave the wall, and he can reattach to the same wall, provided he goes far enough away from it. So this has also come with the nerf that the jump off speed has been reduced. There was a post by that on Jeff Gibbon. I think it went from like 2.5 to 2 or something like that. It was, again, one of those things that it was really hard for me to picture in my mind, but that change did also happen. So here's what this looks like. Because I didn't really think very much of it, but then I saw, like, this clip, and I was like, Jesus. Look at this. Whoa. That's pretty crazy. So, look at him go. So people are losing their minds over this change. The sky is falling on the subreddits right now over this change. Meanwhile, people are not losing their mind over Storm Arrow. People are losing their mind over this, though. Like, the skill cap, it's been lowered. All right, let me give you a simulation of what a typical Lucio does to emulate that kind of maneuver right now. And he sticks to the wall. So, you know, I don't consider reducing that to be a particularly negative change. Yeah, it's easier to ride walls now. Okay, whatever. People are also like, oh, the rollouts, they're gone. I'm sure you'll find a way to survive. I'm sure you'll be... It's a nerf disguised as a buff. Oh, God, the sky. It's fine. You'll live. Also, Soundwave no longer consumes ammo. That's cool. Alright, the skill cap's been lowered. Yes, that's true. I don't think what they removed is a particularly bad thing to remove. And I don't think the kickoff speed being nerfed is a particularly big deal. Because guess what? There was a point in time Lucio didn't have that, and he was the strongest hero in the game. That's perhaps a bit needlessly reductive of me to say, but I don't think the rollout loss is that terrible. And yeah, the skill cap's been lowered. That's true. Oh no. You don't have to jam space to stick to walls anymore. You can just kind of ride the wall. Okay. Makes Lucio funner, honestly. Well, it makes him more fun, is a better way to phrase that. Makes him more fun to play, right? And Lucio is a hero that has trouble getting picked because people don't find Lucio to be fun. So I don't think this is an issue. I definitely don't think it's as bad as people are making it sound like it is, because Jesus Christ, so many fucking posts have been made in the last day about how the fucking world is ending. You'll live. I'm sure Lucio mains will find a way to survive without the rollouts. You'll be fine. So, last big change. For the first time in recorded history, Tracer has been nerfed. I know. So, Pulse Bomb reduced from 400 to 300, with the context that she was too good at killing tanks with it. Alright, fair enough, whatever. I play a lot of tanks. I even play Reinhardt, who people will tell you is the worst hero in the game right now, even though he has a positive win rate. Anyway, I didn't think this was an issue, so now it's even less of an issue than I already thought it was, so hooray. This doesn't change the thing that's good about Pulse Bomb, because to me, the thing that's really strong about Pulse Bomb is that once you get consistent at landing it, it's basically a guaranteed kill on a squishy target. That's still true. And I wasn't concerned about being stuck as Reinhardt usually, because most Tracers will stick you at a bad time. They'll stick you when they can't do follow-up damage, or the team can't do follow-up damage, or you won't just die to it. So, like, this is not a concern to me. I'm more concerned about the Tracer using me as an ult battery to stick other people than I am with her sticking me, personally, right? So, whatever. I didn't think it was an issue. Now it's an even less of an issue. It doesn't change the thing that Pulse Bomb is really strong at, in my opinion, so I think this change is, like, ultimately pointless, but, you know, whatever. Cool. Tracer got nerfed, so that's novel. So there's one last thing. I'm going to attach the caveat that this change is not final. These changes as well are not final, but this one in particular. So they accidentally pushed some Horizon Lunar Colony changes to the PTR, and they did say that these are still experimental and being iterated upon, blah, 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 blah. So bear in mind what we see here is not final, definitely not final, wasn't even ready to go on the PTR yet, so this might not ever show up. But I look at this and I'm like, I expect something similar at least to this to appear, if not just this to appear. So here's the first checkpoint. So first off, there's a gate door on the right side, so that's cool. The high ground now has hard cover on it, which is cool, makes it less of a trap for the defenders. And that wall that was there is now gone, so it's easier to get onto the objective from the high ground as well. There's one other change. It does some very big sweeping things. Don't worry that you can't see the health kits. Like, the health kits are, like, turned off for some reason from this viewing, because we'll come through here and, like, there's no door there, so, you know, whatever. You'll see that the health kit's not out here. Like, the health kits are just not here in this video for some reason. Whatever. Looks cleaner up here as well. You know, so there's another big change, which is around the other side. So we come through here, no door there. Whoop, come back around this side. So now the left side is way more attractive than the right side still, but, like, also, that door is gone now. Now there's a staircase going up there. How about that? Now there's palm trees out here as well. This, I feel like, might not be in the actual... Because, like, these palm trees look really weird, right? Like, anyway. So these are very big changes. Watch this. Look at this change as well. So that's now got hard cover. We can see Hanzo standing on it, which is... You can't do right now. Look at that. The whole catwalk's missing. The attackers can't just walk out on this catwalk and be like, I have a soldier up here now. My soldier now has high ground on you, defenders, because I just walked out like this. Still kind of can, but, like, you know, not to the same obnoxious degree. That's got hard cover on it now. It's got a bigger platform. You can sit up there and do some delightful Orisa cheese. That platform on the right side is now bigger. There's also a staircase that goes up to it, though we haven't seen that yet. There's a staircase now. Because it used to just be a platform up here in the corner. Now it's a bigger platform, and there's a staircase going up to it. These are huge changes to Horizon. Horizon suddenly looks... And look, oh, you go straight through here now as well, so that's also different. Horizon suddenly looks like a good map. Isn't that incredible? It doesn't look like the absolute abomination of a map that it currently is. So these changes are fantastic. I hope that these changes do come through onto PTR and onto Live. Like, if not these, hopefully something very similar to those, because, oh my god, that looks so much better. And then some bug fixes, who cares? Nothing huge stood out there. So that's the patch today. So basically, here's the summation. Hooray! Oh god. We'll see. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Meh. And please, love God Horizon, yes, please. Make that map less terrible. Oh, please. So, and, you know, looks cool. Whatever. Hopefully it's not as bad as Junker 10 and Card to Horizon. So anyway, at least we know they're working on Horizon, right? That's the big thing. Hooray. Thank goodness. So, that's the patch. So, let me know what you think about the patch. Do you think that the Hanzo change is good? Bad? You know, do you like it? Do you hate it? I hate it. Let me know, you know, deflect. I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. You know, what do you think about this? Do you think this is going to be impactful? I think it's probably going to end up being impactful. Do you think the sky is falling? Do you think this was a big deal? I'm interested. And also, what do you think about Horizon? I think that was an objective improvement to Horizon, but do let me know what you think. I'm curious to hear about it. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. And I hope you found the video helpful.